What is up, guys? Binky49 here. We are back on a different game. I know you guys are getting tired of Magic the Gathering. I'm sure you were. No one even commented on the gameplay ever, which is fine. I said it from the beginning. This is supposed to be background. But today we're playing SimCity2000 instead. You know, if you like Desolation, you might like SimCity2000. This game's from like 1994 or 96 or some old time-forgotten past. And it's basically a city building game. But let's not talk too much about it. I'm just going to build a city in the background while we talk about today's creative question of the week. I want to thank everyone who left a creative question of the week in last week's video. I want to thank everyone who participated in the discussion. We had some great discussions and conversations in the comment section, so I really do appreciate that. Thank you all for participating. I hope that we can keep the participating rolling, so be sure to put a comment in the comment section of this video that asks a creative question of the week so that you could perhaps be the focus of the conversation next week. Alright, we got a good one in this week, and our creative question of the week comes from Funtime Springs Traps, and he asks, what do you think of the movie Inception? Do you believe that the movie teaches any life lessons, and how could its logic be applied to real life? Thank you, Funtime Spring Trap, for asking that question. How long have you been asking this question, Funtime? Oh my goodness, he's been asking this question over and over and over, and I just never got to it. I don't know. I always felt like there was more important things to talk about, but for some reason, this question really stood out to me this week. So we're gonna talk movies, and we're gonna talk Inception. Yeah, guys, this series can be about anything. If you want me to talk about a movie that you like, or a movie that you think raises some questions, then let's talk movies, right? I'm open for anything. That's why it's called Creative Question of the Week. Okay, so he wants to talk about Inception. I rewatched the Inception movie this week because of the question. I've seen it like 3 or 4 times, but I watched it again just to see what's up. Maybe there's something new that I had never noticed, or maybe I've changed, and my opinion of the movie changed. And I think a little bit that's true. So let's talk about it. The first thing you got to talk about when you talk about Inception, for me personally, is the soundtrack. The music of that movie is insane. I believe it's Hans Zimmer who did all the music. Absolutely incredible music in this movie. It brings out so many emotions. In fact, I used one of his songs in one of my videos, which you can check out. I'll put a link in the card if I can remember how to do that. Remember, it was the mall video where I had completed the mall, and I used the song. I think it was called "In Time" or something like that, something about time. And I used that song in the mall video to show off the mall's completedness. It was a great video, a lot of fun. Anyway, check that out. But the music is it just sets the tone for the whole movie. It's very somber yet hopeful at the same time, right? By the way, in case this isn't obvious, spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie Inception, turn off this video, please. Because you should definitely go see it. If you're planning on not seeing Inception, what are you, crazy? You know, this is Christopher Nolan we're talking about here. We're talking about the Batman series, we're talking about Insomnia, we're talking about all sorts of incredible movies. So you gotta go check out his movies if you haven't checked them out before. But yeah, spoilers, okay? I should have mentioned that at the beginning, but we haven't talked about anything yet. Another thing about Inception is it reminds me a little bit of Minecraft Desolation. Actually, you know, there several times they get stuck in limbo, and in limbo they think they're in reality, yet they can create anything that they want. And you know, so they created a huge city. I'm like, that's me. I was in limbo for like 5 years building Desolation, and that just kind of rang true to me. So I wanted to mention that. It's definite Minecraft, you know, comparable. It also reminded me of GTA a little bit, Grand Theft Auto, where you get dropped down into this city, right? And you can do anything you want. So it had video gamey vibes, and I guess that's the dreamlike nature of video games, or maybe, you know, video games are emulating the nature of dreams. I don't know if art's imitating life or vice versa. You be the judge of that. What else can we talk about? I thought some of the themes of the movie were pretty interesting. I think one of the main themes was about trust, right? And I think that's one of the biggest things I got from the movie is trust. Who can you trust? And can you even trust yourself? Cobb, the main character played by Leonardo DiCaprio, had this motivation. He wanted to get back to his family in the United States, but he was a criminal in the United States, and he couldn't do it. And he basically wanted it so badly that he risked everything. He risked his own life. He risked the life of his friends. And that broke kind of their trust with him, which was kind of strange by the end of the movie, right? Okay, so basically, if you haven't seen let me refresh your mind. In order to go back home, Cobb, Leonardo DiCaprio, takes this job that's extremely dangerous. They have to go 3 levels of dreams. They have to convince the guy that he came up with an idea that wasn't his own. And he goes into the dream, and they quickly realize that this dreamer, the guy that their mind is going into, has had defensives installed, and now his dream's trying to kill them, and they've get deep into this dream state, and then only then does he tell them that if they die in the dream, they go to limbo forever. So basically, what he did is he didn't tell his crew this. He just took them with him for money, and now that they realize that the job's much harder than they thought, and if they die, which they're probably going to do, they go to limbo forever, and they can't come out of that for like 100 years or whatever it is. And so they can't trust the guy who they have to trust, right? That's one of the themes in the movie, is not being able to trust who you have to trust. And I think that's kind of mirrored in the dream world, is that in this world of Inception, even your dreams are not something that you can trust, right? There's people infiltrating your dreams and trying to get you to think things. And on the surface, that kind of, that's like a science fiction thing, right? But I'll share with you the nature of what I think dreams are, okay? And maybe that'll give some insight into why I think that this movie is kind of realistic. It's not science fiction. It's kind of realistic, because the dream state is something that science really knows very little about. We know that there's several stages of brainwave activity. You start with alpha, then you go to beta, then you go to theta, then you go to... Well, I gotta load it up here. Hold on. There's alpha, beta, theta. Hold on, let me find it. Alpha, beta, theta, delta is the one I'm trying to remember, and then REM. So these are the different stages of brainwave activity that your brain goes through during sleep on the way to the dream state. And REM, the rapid eye movement state, is when you do your dreaming. That's kind of the end of the dream, of the sleep cycle. And that's when you do most of your dreaming until you basically wake up. And, through my process of meditation, I've been able to control my brainwave activity, right? When science knows that when one gets into a meditative state, they move into the theta brainwave state. And this is a brainwave state where you're more creative, you're more receptive, you're more in touch with the higher realms. And this causes more creativity, more action, less logic and more creativity, right? And this is a brainwave state that you have on your way to the dream state. So meditation is basically what you're doing is you're bringing yourself one step closer to the dream state while not actually being asleep, right? And so through meditation, you can kind of get a greater sense of what's going on in the dream state. And what I believe is happening in the dream state is I believe that you are taking, I think I made a video on this actually. I don't remember exactly what it's called, but what you're doing is you're taking your consciousness. When you're in that REM deep sleep state and you're dreaming, you're taking your consciousness and you're projecting it into the astral realms. This is what I believe is actually happening. I believe you're actually going through what you're going through in the dream in the astral realm. This is not occurring in your mind. This is occurring, your consciousness is taking a vacation, right? Your consciousness doesn't go to sleep. Your body does. So your consciousness needs to do something while you're sleeping. It can't just sit there. So what it does is goes on adventures, right? It interacts with people or entities and things. So I believe that, as Carl Jung was saying, that when we dream, we're actually all... This is so hard to describe, but it's the collective consciousness, and we're all tapping into that. And what the collective consciousness is, it's the shared information that all humans are connected to, yet we don't know it. It's a reason why people can have the same dream. I had the same dream as somebody. The details were a little bit different, but on the same night we had the same dream, and it was a dream that was foreshadowing events that would occur in real life, that were to occur, and then the event did occur. Didn't happen the same way. It happened in both of our dreams, but our dreams we were connected in our dream, and something was trying to tell us what was going to happen. So there's a lot of mystery surrounding dreams, but once you kind of realize that these things aren't happening in your head, that you are traveling, your consciousness is traveling to the astral realm. And if you don't know what the astral realm is, I mean, you got a lot of creative questions of the week to catch up on. The astral realm is basically a dimension of reality that's non-physical. A lot of people call it the fourth dimension. It's basically the vibration of energy just above our three-dimensional field. So it's the dream world. It's the world of ghosts. It's the world of gnomes and hobbits, and not hobbits, not hobbits, gnomes and fairies and the nature spirits, right? That's the fourth dimensional astral realm. And I think that's where you're going when you're dreaming. I could be wrong, but that's just the sense I get from it. And the reason I wanted to bring that up is because he asked, Funtime Springtrap asked, what does this movie teach us about life, and can its logic be applied to real life? Well, I think the better that you understand your dreams, the more you're going to understand about the self and what's going on with you. While Carl Jung stipulated that dreams were, humans tapping into the collective consciousness. What's his face? Let me see his name. Sigmund Freud thought that they represented our unconscious or our subconscious, and Freud was saying that dreams were basically life lessons that we had to learn, and it was our way of our unconscious speaking to us. And I think he was right, but I think Jung was right as well. I think they were both right. I think when we travel to these astral planes, I think what we're doing is our subconscious or our unconscious is trying to tell us something about what we need to know. We're receiving messages through our dreams. And I think it's very important to be aware of what's happening in your dreams and who you're interacting with during your dream, because there is the possibility of people messing with your dream, just like in the movie. And I think this is going to draw the comparisons to real life. In the movie, someone would go into another person's dream and try to corrupt them with an idea that they wanted. And I think this happens all the time in real life. When we travel to the astral realm, we're not protected. There's all sorts of beings, positive beings, light beings, negative beings, dark beings that want to manipulate you. And so a lot of the times what we'll have is nightmares, and our dreams will be scary. And that is intentional. When we have a nightmare or a bad dream that really scares us, well, I think most of the time what's happening is that we're interacting with a negative entity in the astral realm. And that negative entity has probably all sorts of maniacal machinations, right? Is trying to get you to wake up tired, trying to get you to be fearful, trying to get you to be worried, right? Because that's the type of being they are. They're fearful, worried, scared, fearful beings. And so it's very important that when you're in your dream state that you don't interact with these beings, because they are they're devious, right? They don't want you to grow and expand in a positive way. They want to hold you back. So if you're having a lot of nightmares, you're going to have to ask yourself, why am I traveling to these places in my dreams? Why am I going to the negative, dark places? And the answer is because you're negative, you're dark, right? Whatever you're vibrating at, whatever frequency you're vibrating at, that's what you're gonna interact with in your dreams. Hands down, period. And that's what you're going to interact with in your life. So if you're having bad, dark dreams, you really need to clean up your own vibration. You need to think more positive thoughts. You need to be kinder to people, have more empathy towards other people, and your vibration will grow. And as your vibration grows, you won't be a vibrational match or energetic resonance to these negative, darker influences. So I just wanted to mention that because nightmares are a thing, and I probably didn't shed any light on that. But ask more questions if you need to. That's what the comment section is for. Some other things about the movie that I just wanted to touch on. He said, there was a quote in the movie, said, "Seeds of an idea grow like a virus." Seeds of an idea grow like a virus. And, when you say like a virus, you're kind of putting a negative connotation on it, a negative spin. Like a virus is kind of a negative thing. But I think it's very important to remember that ideas do spread like a virus. The ideas do grow like wildfire sometimes. And I think that's a very important thing to take away from the movie is that, just because you're, little me, right? I don't have any power. I don't have any influence. I don't have any control, right? You think so little of yourself. So many of us do, right? But when you remember that the seeds of an idea grow like a virus, well, all you need is to spread one little idea. And if it's a good idea, if it takes root, if people get behind that idea, you have completely changed the world. All it takes is an idea. All it takes is something new that no one's ever thought of before. And anyone can do that. Literally anyone. Right? Just as anyone can create in the dream world of Inception, anyone can create in the real world of life, and it starts with your dreams, right? Our dreams become real in some way or another. I've had dreams that turned out to be real in the exact way the dream said, and then it was crazy. But I've also had dreams that were pointing me in a direction, and then I head in that direction, and I find some things I didn't expect, but it was the right direction. So our dreams are extremely important. I think it's very important that we consciously become more aware of our dreams. They are extremely important. For 8 hours a day, your subconscious is guiding you. So it's very important to listen. So I've talked about this in the past, and I'll just briefly talk about this in this video. Since we are talking about dreams, it's very important to remember your dreams. And one way that I like to do that is I set the intention before sleep. I say to myself, I set the intention that I'm going to be protected during my dream. I'm not going to run into any negative entities in my dream. I'm not going to interact with them. I'm going to remember my dream. My dream is going to be vibrant and they're going to be lifelike, and I'm going to remember them in full detail. So if I set that intention right before bed, a lot of the time, I will remember my dream. Not in the detail that I like, but at least I remember it. And it's very important that at that point to write things down. Write down the information that you got from your dream, because it's like a half-remembered dream. Half-remembered dreams are like half-remembered dreams. You can't remember them within 5 minutes of waking up. So it's very important that you write things down. So that you can come to it later, and you can compare your real life to things that happen in your dream, and you can see how your dreams are guiding you. The thing that I like to do is I will do a tarot card reading, and I have a spread that tells me exactly what that dream was trying to tell me, and that's been a huge boost for me as far as understanding my dreams, because if you don't understand what your subconscious is trying to tell you, ask your subconscious. Right? That's how I do it. Let's just talk about the ending now that we're getting to the end of the video. A lot of people say, the ending shows him reuniting with his kids and then spinning the top, and then the top starts to maybe wobble, and then the credits roll. So basically, the ending is supposed to be ambiguous. You're supposed to make your own ending and say, yes, I think it was real life, or no, I think it was a dream. I personally... I think it might be a dream, because the biggest indicator is the clothes that the kids are wearing in the final scene are the same exact clothes that he remembers his kids having, right? Every time he remembers his kids, he remembers them wearing a certain set of clothes every time. And then the final scene rolls and their kids are in the same clothes. And even the kid says, we're building a house on a cliff, right? he's building something from the movie earlier. I think it was a dream in the end. The whole movie was a dream personally. But you can make a case either way. That's the whole idea of the ambiguous ending. So whatever you want it to be is what it will be for you. So that is Inception. I really enjoyed that movie. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. I'm sure you all have. It's one of Christopher Nolan's most famous, most popular, most successful movies. And it's great. It's special effects, the acting. They got the best actors in Hollywood. So nothing could go wrong. Go check out Inception from 2010. So I want to thank you guys for watching. I really do appreciate all your comments in the comment section. I want to thank you for interacting, and thank you for putting a comment in the comment section for next week. I really do appreciate it. I can't wait to read your comments again. So thank you, everyone. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. Happy dreaming. Peace.